Today on Ham Radio Q&A, I open the mailbag and answer your questions, so please keep watching for more. Hi, I'm Michael, KB9DBR, your host for Ham Radio Q&A. I'm on a mission to inspire and educate the amateur radio community, so if this is your first time watching, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Well, I'm sure the stay-at-home orders are wearing thin on everyone. I know my hair is getting shaggier and shaggier. It may get to the point where I'm going to be rocking that same hairstyle I had way back in the 90s. But, I really see the light at the end of the tunnel. We've got the trailer out and outfitted it for the season, and many of the county parks have opened up for camping. So like anything else, we're going to do what we can do and take things day by day. Whatever you choose to do, all I say is to stay healthy and stay safe. So much for that. Let's move on to the questions. In my video on the amateur station tour, I got a lot of comments about that Motorola speaker, the one we got sitting up here. It's really a favorite accessory of mine, and so thanks everybody for noticing it. But Joe asks, didn't you have a Yaesu portable on HF? Well, I still have the Yaesu portable. It's the FT891, and you probably saw it sitting on my desk in many videos as it took the place of my main rig, the ICOM IC718. That rig has gone back in, the Yaesu, has gone back into my HF portable kit. So, I'm ready to hit the road and make contacts without having to disassemble, part of my home station here. But speaking of Yaesu, Lizzie asks, what made you decide on the 3000 over the 101D? Well, the short answer is price. The FTDX 101D was outside my budget, and the FTDX 3000D was a very nice upgrade from what I was previously using. I might be a YouTube star, but no one is beating down the door to give me free radios. So much of what you see over here, it's been purchased with my own money. Now, I try to keep this channel agenda-free as much as I can, but, occasionally I do receive a product for review, and I'll state up front at the beginning of the video that it was a provided item for review. In another question, Vaughn says, you mentioned your mini hotspot, but didn't give a reference. Okay, so I neglected to talk about the hotspot, as my shack's in the basement, and the hotspot sits upstairs in my office for better coverage of the house and the backyard. But I'm using a DV Mega, a board, plugged into a Raspberry Pi computer, and they're all running the PiStar software. I did a video on that a while ago, so I'll flash a link up on the screen here. You might want to check it out. The nice thing about PiStar is that it can run dual mode, so that it monitors both a DMR talk group and a Yaesu System Fusion room at the same time. If you're looking to get a hold of me on one of those digital modes, I usually have it set up to the Wisconsin talk group on DMR and the MinWis room on Fusion. But I'll admit, I don't monitor the hotspot 24/7, so, your mileages may vary on if you're going to get a hold of me, if I'm around or not. In my video about amateur radio call signs, I neglected to talk about one-by-one call signs. So Justin asks, I heard a station identifying with a one-by-one call sign on HF the other day. How did he get that? Okay, one-by-one call signs are special event call signs. They are issued on a temporary basis to commemorate a historical event or celebrate an occasion. Typically, an amateur radio club or group or even an individual will request the special event call signs, and then will have the opportunity to use it for a limited period of time. At the time, the call sign will, after that time, the call sign will go back into the pool for the next event. Since the call signs are used for a short period of time, the FCC, really doesn't want to mess with that, and they have delegated the administration of special event call signs to groups of coordinators that handle the requests. I'll put a link in the video description below on special event call signs, which will give you more information about the program and the form you can use to request one for your next special event. Following up on call signs, Pat says, one scenario you didn't mention is when a person walks into a VE session with no amateur radio license and walks out as an amateur extra, meaning they've passed all three elements. the FCC will issue them a 2x2 call sign. Well, Pat, you're correct. Since it doesn't happen often, I forgot that if you pass all 3 exams in one sitting, you will automatically receive systematically a 2x2 call sign from the extra class pool. As I stated in my video about the Wisconsin CUSO Party, I really love participating in CUSO parties, not just in my own states, but also as an outstater for other ones. Last month I spent 2 days picking up stations for the Missouri and Nebraska parties, and just this last weekend was the Indiana CUSO Party. In that regards, Camden says, "Sweet, I live in Indiana, but am neither a general nor have the budget to get on HF rig to get on a CUSO party." Well, the great news is that you don't have to be a general or have an HF setup to have fun with a CUSO party. For example, my first year as a Tech Plus, I did the Wisconsin CUSO Party on 2 meters FM simplex. We took a road trip to a more populated part of the state, and I worked about 30 stations with a mobile radio and a 5/8 wave whip antenna right on the car. It was a beautiful spring day, and we had a blast driving around looking for stations on 2 meters simplex. My second year participating, another local ham invited me to work from his station. He had 2 HF rigs set up, so he was doing RTTY digital on one setup, and I was doing voice on the other. So creative opportunities do exist if you don't have the equipment or the license class to really participate. Now, I'm also going to be the first to admit that when I'm wrong. In my video about the upcoming FTM 300DR transceiver, I made some prognostications about how Yaesu is positioning their mobile radio lineup. Now, I was wrong about that, about what my thoughts were. As David says, well, the FTM 100DR is no longer in production, so this is the replacement, I guess? Yaesu just announced the discontinuation of the FTM 100DR mobile transceiver. In the video, I was surmised that the 100DR would be part of their lineup of dual-band mobile transceivers and that the FTM 7250 would be cut. I guess I was wrong. And like I said, in the video, I really didn't have any inside information, so, I was just kind of making a guess. But I'm not seeing the FTM 100DR listed on any online product catalogs anymore. And if you're looking for one, you might want to call around to the various dealers to see, maybe if they have any units in stock. But wrapping things up, a couple of questions about the Yaesu FT3DR came across my desk. Charles asks, could I use the SD card in my FTM 400DR on the FT3DR? You should be able to. The FT3DR is a little picky about the size and the type of micro SD card it uses, but if it works in the FTM 400, it should work in the FT3DR. In my experience, smaller cards work better than larger ones. Both the FTM 400 and the FT3DR have a 32 gigabyte limit on the size of card they recognize. Sometimes, when I go shopping at stores like Office Depot or Target, I'll check out the clearance rack in the electronics section and see if there's a small micro SD card, super cheap. And if there is, I'll buy it for these radios. Michigan Prepper asks, the FT3DR, can the GPS be used for navigation? If so, how? Well, the FT3DR does not have a built-in map or breadcrumb feature, but it will give you coordinates, headings and bearings in the simplest of terms. It'll also tell you what direction you're going, if you're moving. I've used the electronic compass feature that these GPS units provide to tell direction while traveling in the car. So, you could use it for navigation, especially in conjunction with a map and a compass. Finally, John asks, hey, now that you showed me how to turn APRS on in my FT3DR, when I want to stop using APRS, what should I do to turn it off? Do I need to undo everything you demonstrated in reverse? Or is there just 1 or 2 things that I should select to turn off and on and back on? Well, that's a great question. If you want to turn off the APRS, all you need to do is to turn off the APRS modem. And you can leave all of those other things running as is. To do that, go to the APRS menu, and then under Option 4 of the APRS menu, you just select to turn the APRS modem off. And then to turn APRS back on, go back to Option 4 in the APRS menu, and then set that APRS modem back to 1200 baud. The radio will once again start decoding APRS packets on the B channel. Well, that's it for this month. Coming up in May, everyone wants to be outside. And we're trying to do the best, our best to have fun outdoors in a responsible manner. Our club's doing a fox hunt this month, so you can look forward to a video on that. State parks and rec areas are open for day use right now. So I may do a Parks on the Air activation. We'll have to see. And I think Joe may have something up his sleeve. You're going to have to stay tuned to find out. But that's it for this month's questions. Please keep them coming. Leave them as a comment below. I'll filter through them and we'll keep that conversation going. Maybe even one of those will show up in the next Your Questions Answered video. But for more articles and information, be sure to check out my blog at www.jpole-antenna.com. Your support of this channel drives the production of future videos. So if you like this video, give me that big thumbs up. Check out some of the other recommended videos alongside me here. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Pressing subscribe is your best way to be notified when a new video is released. Well, that's it for this time. I'm Michael, KB9VBR. Have a great day and 73.